right, Chelsea are set to ask Leicester for permission to speak with Enzo Maresca about their managerial vacancy, talkSPORT understands. Maresca is one of the leading candidates to replace Mauricio Pochettino after guiding the Foxes to the Championship title. Well done to him. It is believed, though, the Italian has a release clause of around £7.5 million in his contract, which obviously isn't a problem for Chelsea. Chelsea also have Ipswich's Kieran McKenna on the shortlist, but Brighton, we're hearing, are hopeful of landing him to succeed Roberto De Zerbi. That's crazy, isn't it? When you look at the list of candidates, Mr. Jennings, for Chelsea, by the way, a Chelsea team that over the years, in recent years, have had Ancelotti, Thomas Tuchel, Conte, Mourinho, even, you might laugh, Rafa Benitez, look at ECV. And the three leading candidates, and this isn't disrespecting them, are two managers that have never managed in top-flight football, in Enzo Maresca and Kieran McKenna, and a Brentford manager who I think is actually a good manager in Thomas Frank, but they finished 16th last season. Those are your three. It's going to be one of those three.
Yeah, and do you know what is the wildest thing that you can say about this, Addy? This is the craziest thing. Look, I'm a Chelsea fan. I'm desperate for Chelsea to succeed. And what I'm saying now with regard to the three managers that you've just mentioned, we're talking about the Brentford manager and two managers that haven't managed in the top flight. Yeah. I am saying to you, and I mean this with all severity, what is in it for them? I like the way
you look at my eyes as you go for it.
Because I think that these words really do demonstrate that the problems at Chelsea, and it shows us just how dangerous these owners are at Chelsea.
What's in it for the owners?
I'm saying, no, what's in it for the managers? I am actually asking the question, should you leave Ipswich to come to Chelsea? Should you leave Brentford to come to Chelsea? No. You do for prestigious reasons. Yeah, absolutely. You do for financial reasons.
Yeah, you think you're going to turn it around. I think every manager will go in there and think, I can implement my ideas, I can spend a bit of money, get the players I want, and turn this ship around.
The Chelsea job is the hardest job in world football to make right. Not because of the players at your disposal, not because of the expectations of the fans, but because of the egos of the owners. You basically admit that you're going to get sacked. You are going to get sacked. You're going to have no control over anything. Yeah. You are not a manager in the true sense of the word. You aren't really a head coach in the true sense of the word. You are dictated to from above, and ultimately you will earn a lot of money, but you will be sacked. You will earn a lot of money, but your reputation will probably be tarnished. The club's meddling owners will make your life a misery. Why would you take that job? Why would you leave Ipswich? You think of everything that Kieran McKenna...
Is that why then, and look, this is just putting it out there, but is that why you think they've gone for those three managers who will accept that? Like, Kieran McKenna will accept that, won't he, to take the job? Enzo Maresca will accept that. Like, they will go in, they'll go through the door, they'll have the interview, and they'll be told, basically, you have no control over anything. But they'll still accept that, wouldn't they, for the opportunity of managing Chelsea?
I think that will be part of the reason why managers of this ilk have been suggested. I can tell you what this certainly means. The reason why we aren't being linked with the likes of Jose Mourinho, the likes of Thomas Tuchel, the likes of Antonio Conte, is because they would have a fit if they were treated in the way that, say, Graham Potter was treated. Do you remember when Graham Potter was doing a relatively stellar job at Chelsea? Like, people like to really mock his time at Chelsea.
But
there were some big results, Addy. We went away to the San Siro and won. We knocked Borussia Dortmund out of the Champions League. Like, they are significant. We had the owners. You had Barley and Todd Boehly. Before they fell out, before they stopped speaking to one another, when they were actually singing off the same hymn sheet, they were striding across to Stamford Bridge turf as if it were their own, and they were going into the dressing room to talk to the players about their performance, to try and give Graham Potter some tips. Who on earth wants to work in those conditions?
Right, that's your take on it. Let's hear from Mr. Simon Jordan. Earlier on today, he spoke about his opinion of those three managers that I mentioned being linked with the Chelsea job.
I mean, it's not something that we haven't seen before. I mean, David Moyes came from Preston and went into Everton because of his successes in the league beneath. I think neither one of those managers are qualified to be able to operate at that level. They've just taken teams out of the Championship. I think they're very good young managers. I sincerely hope that Kieran McKenna doesn't fall into the trap that so many managers fall into, which is, I can't resist the opportunity. Back yourselves. You've just seen the most preposterous situation of Vincent Kompany going from Burnley to Bayern Munich. So the rule book is being torn up because people are making dispensations for people's preparedness to try and play a certain way.
Let's counter this argument. And again, I want to do this just because Kieran McKenna is a good manager. Enzo Maresca, speak to Leicester City fans, is a good manager. And I think Brentford fans will suggest that Thomas Frank is as well. Ange Postecoglou didn't manage in the Premier League, obviously managed in the Premiership in Scotland, and before that was managing in Japan.
Right.
So he got an opportunity and he done okay, I think, in his first season for Spurs. Arteta never managed before, and I think it's fair to say Arsenal fans will say that he's doing well. So I'm just trying to say,
the issue isn't that they haven't managed in the
top flight manager, do you, to get a big job and make a success of a big job?
No, I don't think the major issue is that these managers haven't managed in the Premier League before. That isn't of all of the reasons why I would say that I'm not overly keen on any of these.
What's the reason there?
Well, because I've got no issue with somebody. Antonio Conte hadn't managed in the Premier League before, but he'd won 3 Scudettos in a row. So it wasn't about whether you've got a Premier League track record. It's about whether you've got a successful track record.
Yeah, but Arteta didn't have anything before.
No, Arteta is the anomaly that makes everybody suggest that
almost
you should
defer to it.
Yeah, but whenever we talk about sacking a manager, we often go, well, it took Arteta time. I'll tell you what, an awful lot of managers are going to get an awful lot of time, and it's going to go so drastically wrong, all on the basis of Mikel Arteta getting it right after 4 years. And when we say right, I rate Arteta for what it's worth, but he didn't win the league, did he? You know, he's won an FA Cup in 4 years.
Okay. Look, we are hearing that Chelsea are going to make this appointment very, very soon. They want to get it done. Obviously, give a manager time to go into the transfer window. Of those three, calm down, Mr. Jennings. Of those 3, is it Thomas Frank then?
No, it isn't Thomas Frank.
Of the 3, so of the 3, you'd go Kieran McKenna
No. Thomas Frank is absolutely rock bottom of the 3. I quite like. I'm full of admiration for what Kieran McKenna has done. I really am. But I would counsel him to not take the Chelsea job. I genuinely would. If you think about what Chelsea have done, look at the length of contract that we gave to Pochettino. We gave Pochettino what? A 2-year contract. That in itself is ludicrous. We gave him a 2-year contract. We give Mykhailo Mudryk an 8-year contract. So you are coming into the job with your hands tied behind your back. So I don't think McKenna should take it. My front runner for it, I think it's probably Enzo Maresca. Chelsea have a rich history of strong relations with Italians.
You know what there seems to be right now, and we've seen it over the years. You remember all those sort of assistant managers to Sir Alex Ferguson, and because they were assistants to Sir Alex or worked under Sir Alex, they got jobs. Same with Jose Mourinho. So many assistants or people that worked in the back room of that Chelsea side under Jose Mourinho have got jobs. And now Enzo Maresca, who, by the way, I'm going with this story because he worked alongside Pep. We're seeing so many managers that have worked in and around Pep get opportunities because of the Pep link. We're seeing that, right? And Vincent Kompany played under Pep, getting a big opportunity at Bayern Munich. I almost feel like Enzo Maresca's been sort of put on this big pedestal. He's done very well at Leicester City, but the more I hear more about him being linked with Pep and working under Pep than I do about him winning the championship with Leicester City.
Look, if you're basing this strictly on a meritocracy in terms of the club that Chelsea are, like 3 years ago, Chelsea were the best club in the world. That's official. Chelsea won the Club World Cup. Enzo Maresca's CV does not dictate that he should be in the running for this Chelsea job. Of course it doesn't. But we're playing by different rules, it seems now.
Yeah, certainly are.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.